Welcome to another great and exciting episode of GMTV. Well, I am your host, Kina Osrefilwe, popularly known as Gogo Moyo. Today, we're going to be talking about a really interesting topic, relationships nomntana wamadlozi. But before we get into that, remember to make sure that you do subscribe as well as hit the bell icon so you can be part of our notes gang. Indumba yakho is the most important place that you will ever own. Why? Firstly, it's sacred to you. It houses you. It's able to take care of and take away all the worries you'll ever have. It's one place that you know it houses imithi yakho. It's where you fetch your well of knowledge. If you do not take care of this space or treat it with respect, ultimately it becomes something it's not meant to be. For instance, if I come back from my boyfriend's house last night and well, we danced, and then I wake up in the morning and bath naturally and want to go back into my sacred space. Over time, if I keep repeating that action, I'm going to take away the sacredness of that space. I'm no longer going to show it the respect that it needs. As umntana wamadlozi, it's important for you to realize your level of influence when it comes to the spaces that you do enter. Like how it's important to take off your shoes mangena endombeni. You're acknowledging that this is not just a space that you're welcomed to, but indawo enkulu, indlu enkulu, right? Esigodlweni. All of us have different names for indumba zethu. Other people call them differently, but ultimately they serve for the same purpose. If we don't have a certain level of hygiene, if umuntu yangena endumbeni zethu and they're not clean or kept, that person is not going to feel really encouraged that they're going to get the healing, the help they need, or even want to refer anyone to you. Because they have also taken the type of experience they had when they were in your space as basically a marketing tool. How you treat people that come into your space, how they find you dressed sangoma, whether umtandazi. I can't be doing most of my work dressed as if ungathi ngiyintombi, as if I'm trying to get a guy to be attracted to me. Ubuhle bami is going to radiate even beyond amahiya wami noma ubuhlalo, noma the smell of impepho that is in there. Because those that are meant for you will come specifically for you. Other things that we need to realize about indumba zethu are that we have to regularly maintain the energies in there. So, mele uqhele. Make sure that you take care of this space. As umntana wamadlozi, you've been taught to this point what medicines to use. Imithi are important to keep in your house that are going to repel evil as well as invite new clients or patients to come into your space. I can't maybe perhaps talk about most of them now because we're all at different levels, and this is not essentially how you're supposed to get your education about you nedlozi lakho. Go to school, spend time and actually learn the things that you're meant to. These are important reminders that it doesn't mean that that you've stopped doing the practices. Another thing about our spaces is that they're a great representation and a reflection of us. I can't walk into an amazingly clean space, mara mina ngcolile. Or the other way around, I look pretty as a flower, but my space is absolutely untidy, gathered dust, everything is has cobwebs on it, as if I don't enter that space as daily as I do. It's important for us to maintain this. It's the one place where we ourselves get our sense of healing. If we can't be healed by it, who are you expecting to? If you find yourself as umntwana amadlozi and you're in a loving, beautiful romantic relationship, that's amazing. Knowing how amadlozi wethu anomona ngathi, it doesn't happen for a lot. And sometimes, as umntwana amadlozi, the love of your life is going to come much later in your life, because for the most part, they want you to run around, use that energy in serving the community before you. One thing that you must realize is that as much as perhaps you're not married and taken ngomthetho by your husband's family and accepted by their ancestors, that as much as you are a person who's still in the dating scene, it's important to realize that sex is not just physical, but very much spiritual. There's something called soul ties, and also being able to get sexually transmitted demons or sexually transmitted bad energies from the person that you date. These things, how do you get to see them? You see them when you are now starting to react in particular ways. Perhaps you had sex last night. You come home, you don't cleanse, and you go about your business. And you don't realize that you've got this feeling. There's just this unshakable feeling. You're temperamental. You don't want to be amongst other people. Like you're just naturally not wanting to integrate with other people. You don't want to go back into your natural habitat of healing other people. You just feel icky. You just feel like something is not particularly correct. Because you don't realize that the person that you've just engaged with the nights before sexually in coyotes, that this person has their own set of things and issues that they have not actually put themselves through. For instance, that's why it's important for us to all self-care in our own individual capacities. And that's why it's important for you to actually be able to learn and identify the people that you do partake in sexual activity with. We share a lot more than we need to. And it's not just saliva or bacteria or even just viruses, but it infiltrates enough to even affect the way you work. Some people, they're not even allowed, for the most part, that if you come back from ukujoleni, that you come back ugeze uphindele ndumbeni. On days that you know that you're going to do that, it's always great for you to skip a day or avoid umsebenzi wakho, or do anything that's going to make you do the work without actually entering esigodlweni sakho endlini amadlozi. All these things are important. But then how, Gogo? How then do you cleanse yourself after all these different kinds of activities that we partake in sexually? Epsom salts for one. Lavender baths. You being able to take imithi lebakufundise ngayo, to put them together and then cleanse. Which means it's important to have a different set and collective in the house, because you cannot be stepping into endumbeni to collect le mithi ukuthi uyogeza ngayo, right? So make sure that you work around your own impediments and around the fact that you may be a forgetful person, or maybe you didn't think that was going to happen last night. So please make sure that you get your collection, put it somewhere in the house for you, wherever you come from, to come back and start by cleansing. It's really important ukuthi hloniphe indawo yamadlozi, especially because it houses everything. It houses even the amount of strength and the power that you possess. Why would you date umntwana wamadlozi? Why not? They're people just like anyone else. They smile beautifully. They've got great hearts. They've got dreams and ambitions to build their own houses and their own households. They too want to have minions running around of themselves, who also add to how we work endumbeni. So how then do you end up having umntwana wamadlozi who's going to be able to assist you in emsebenzini wakho wamadlozi if you never actually get a chance on an opportunity to meet the right person to match the personality that you are? Some people are afraid of dating izangoma. Why? Some are not ready to leave the field. the playing field. Cheaters worldwide. So they're afraid of dating people like us because they know in our dream state, we get the whole entire lineup of what's been happening around us. You don't even have to be Mtwana Madlozi for you to see that. As a person who's in a relationship or you're married, you can see if your partner strays from you just by dreams alone. And if I can encourage you to listen to those, why wouldn't I listen to my own? Sometimes a person is unable to date Mtwana Madlozi because they're afraid, genuinely afraid of the stigma around us. They think we're unkept, we're not clean, or we're not cultured enough to live and know the difference between Idoda Sindumbeni as well as being a normal citizen in the world. But it's equally important that when you choose your partner that you would like to date, this is someone that's respectful, someone who has a deep interest in culture. They may not necessarily want to come into Ndumbeni Yako and learn about the different kinds of imiti that you have in there, but they have to be able to have respect towards that. Sometimes you may find that and mele uzilele abantwana bakho because they're about to go through very interesting or very important parts and rituals for their processes in terms of intwaso. You have to be able to tell your partner, Baba, I can't be that normal girl that I am with you until this time has passed. This is something very important and it's sacred to us. We need to literally give our all to it. If you're dating a person who doesn't understand that, it's going to cause a big noise in your relationship, potentially even break you guys up, because he doesn't actually understand the different forms that you come in, and that during your journey, you also have to go through ukuzila for izinto zakho. For instance, perhaps you may find igulane and you want to speedily work through as efficiently through the people that are there, and then you find that Baba is sitting in the house not particularly doing anything. It would be nice if you were able to call him over and ask him imiti while you're busy doing other things or helping in sebenzo. Over time, as a person, if you really love your person, such things are no thing to you. You don't mind them because you can see that it actually helps your partner and they get to finish sooner and actually get to sit down and rest for the rest of the day. Understanding what role you play in your relationship is equally important because some are supporters, some are frontliners. So we all need to learn and understand the different roles that we play so we can equally be able to support our partners differently. If my partner's a businessman, I need to be a strong woman in the household. Make sure that besides him looking the part, even his mindset is correct, because I also get to feed him with the right energy when he leaves the home to go and deal with his business meetings. Much like when you're dealing with isangoma, Mtwana wa Madlozi. If you're going to be a loud person, full of ulaga, and being a person who's very disruptive, what condition are you expecting that person to go enter their space of worship, the place of the sacred place that they're going to be working in? It's all vice versa, but it all boils down to respecting each other as a people. I think if you realize there's not really much to dating a sangoma besides the general respect that you would have for your otherwise partner. If we're all being honest, it's really rather the stigma of the people that they are and how they're natured, and that your friends maybe are going to laugh at you that you're dating a person of this nature, then that means that you have no maturity for yourself and that you're not an individual in the group of friends that you've chosen for yourself. And that already shows that you need new friends. On that note, that has been me talking about hygiene on a sacred space perspective as well as being in a romantic relationship. Thank you for tuning in. I have been your host with the most, Gogo Moyo. Thokozani.